were in Grand Slam finals. Not a bad result after a season of injury problems and family problems. The comparative peace of Brighton this week was the place to put all that behind her. Steffi defending the Midland Bank title. And days at the seaside have clearly played their part in her upbringing. But not as much as tennis. At age 17, victory at Brighton was her first championship success in Britain. She's defending the title again this week, and Barry Davis wondered how she might have changed between then and now.
I think a lot of things have changed in then in 4 years, especially in that age. That just, even a year means so much, and there are quite a lot of changes in my personality, I would say.
Give me a couple of examples.
I'm terrible in describing myself, but I think I'm more outgoing. I have much more friends right now. At this age, I was very lonely in many ways, so I don't have that feeling at all. I have people there when I need them. And for my character-wise, I think I've found myself much better than before. I think I know my direction, what I want to do, where I want to go. And sometimes I'm losing it still, but I have enough thoughts and the right people to help me in that matter sometimes.
In a year in which her family, always so supportive, have had to live with scandal, Peter Graf the subject of a paternity argument, the role of Steffi's coach, Pavel Slozl, has assumed greater significance. And the problems off-court have coincided on it with fitness battles. She had an operation for sinusitis immediately after Wimbledon, and the challenge of youth, which has lifted women's tennis and required the world champion to be on her mettle.
This year with Selic and with Capriati, and then again Sabatini playing much better than before. So that's competition, and you're very eager, or I'm very eager to play against them. You get told that you're already 21, and it's just the people, the kids are getting younger, they're getting tougher right from the beginning, working harder, more aggressive. So it's starting much younger now than 10 years ago or so.
1990 has brought 4 different winners of the Grand Slam tournaments. In the 2 previous years, Steffi had won 7 of the 8, winning the Grand Slam 2 years ago.
Looking back, it's just sensational that I got through with it the whole year, because the tournaments are sometimes close to each other, and to be fit on every 4 tournaments, to physically be ready and mentally be strong enough on those 4 big occasions, that's very difficult. And that's why it was so incredible. And then after US Open, 1 week later, played the Olympics and won that too. And after that, I felt like I had a lot of weight away from me.
Do you have an ambition to do it again? Doesn't it matter?
Oh yeah, no, it would be great, but I can't keep looking for that, not at all. I mean, take every tournament serious as I usually do, and with the competition around and with everything, it's very difficult.
At that time, of course, I mean, people said, oh, she'll dominate tennis, it's only when she wants to retire, then somebody else will get a chance. It hasn't quite worked out like that, has it?
Well, people always put a mark on something. You know, 1 year you almost never lose, and you win the Grand Slam, and they say, oh, she's invincible, she never loses, it seems things like normal. And then, for example, a year like this year, I lost 4 times this year, and people say, oh, she's vulnerable, she's beatable and everything. So she had a bad year, and I'm like, for all that I've gotten through, I'm fine. So it's, people putting a mark sometimes on things.
Are you saying you've actually surprised yourself at how well you've done, considering the off-court problems you've had to deal with?
I would say so. Sometimes even doctors said, how could you be able to play and to be standing on there? It's just impossible. So there were times that I think I would say it was incredible that I got through and that far sometimes.
Did you ever come off court having to check the result as to whether you won it or not?
Whether I won it or not?
Yeah.
Not really, but usually I'm fit enough, but there were times when I was not very sure that I could play or finish a match.
Mentally or physically or both?
Physically and once mentally.
It was during the German Open in May that the newspapers broke the story that a former model claimed that Peter Graf was the father of her child, and that blackmail money had been paid. Steffi lost her title to Monica Seles in straight sets.
It was not the match who really gave me the troubles at all. It wasn't. It was my mind actually. What was I was. It's very difficult to talk about those times, so I don't feel like talking about it. But I certainly didn't feel like playing tennis in this moment.
I mean, clearly, the publicity glare.
Yeah,
I mean, you actually talked about the word hate came into your vocabulary, which I imagine doesn't come in too often.
No, it takes a long while for me to hate something. I usually don't, but there were things that are difficult to forget.
Have you sort of come to terms with the fact that there are some members of the media who will take advantage, get at you through other members of your family?
You have to accept it, even if it's very difficult, very, very difficult. And there are times when you know it, but you just can't ignore it, and it doesn't stop, and that's the problem. You know. And that sometimes makes me a little crazy, but I think I had quite some time to adjust to it, and I'm pretty much doing fine right now.
What do you do at home when you want to escape?
I'm a huge fan of music.
Across the board?
Pretty much, I have to say. From The Cure, Depeche Mode, Simply Red, Kool and the Gang, Sade, I mean everything all together.
And serious music? Come on,
little,
from Germany.
Little.
A few
I know. But sometimes I like it, and sometimes it's much better than most of the music that's around, I have to say. But not very often. Usually it's just to get away.
One last question, which I'd like you to comment on. Teddy Tingling, who knew a fair bit about women's tennis and tennis generally. He once said, a star has to be lonely. What do you feel about that, as the star in the game still?
It's true. I mean, if I look at myself, I would definitely say so. I like to be by myself. I like to, or I feel many times I want to be by myself. I have that feeling because sometimes nobody can help you. You have to help yourself. And many things have to come from inside of you. And that's why sometimes people don't understand your reactions, but you feel you have to do certain things that way. And that only comes if you think a lot about a few things, and when it comes from being alone sometimes.
Well, there's nothing like a win to cheer you up. Second round victory today for Steffi Graf over Natalie Herremann, 6-4, 6-2. Steffi defending the Midland Bank title in Brighton. Now also in Britain this week, Olympic sprint champion Carl Lewis here to promote his new book, but also
Force made it a little bit easy for her, but she had some great returns in this moment, so it was tough.
Dan Maskell was commenting up in the box how much your service seems to have improved during the course of this week.
Yeah, it's true. My service has been great strength, and I didn't make too many errors on my serve, so it was very important. I won my service games very easy.
And he and Virginia were also commenting that you're playing with great ambition.
Well, true. I mean, if I wouldn't have ambitions, I wouldn't be out there playing.
You know what I mean, though. You're trying a few things.
Well, it's true. I mean, once in a while I try to play the backhand topspin, but I usually don't do it too often, and it worked very well today.
And back in the final at Brighton again.
Yes, I'm very happy about it.
Well done. Thank you very much. And in the final, Miss Graf will play the winner of the match between the number 2 seed Katerina Mileva and the number 3 seed Helena Sukova. And that final you can see on BBC 2. It starts at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And I hope you'll join us then.